can't do this on my own. It's lonely in the cold, yet even through the rain, the sun gives light to a brighter day. And as the seasons change, I'll find a way with grace to a hope that lasts forever, and put the pieces together.
Well, good morning and welcome to Linwood Community Church again, and we're going to start off with our devotional this week, and there'll be one more devotional next week, as well as the last video Bible study. They'll still be coming out because they've gone ahead a little bit, but this will be second to the last devotional until we pick it up again in the fall. So why don't we open in prayer. Dear Lord, thank you for this day. Thank you for the opportunity to just talk for a few minutes on some issues and some insight, and for that opportunity, Lord, I thank you in your name. Amen. There are 209 state-level ballot qualified political party affiliates in the United States, 209. The Democratic Party and the Republican Party are the only two that are recognized in all 50 states. Both parties are recognized in 50 states and Washington, D.C. The other parties, the Libertarian parties, 33 states. The Green Party, 17, and the Constitution Party, I believe, is 13. But then there's a ton of others that are recognized as in a couple states and some individual states. So out of the 209, 102 of them are Democratic, the Democrat and the Republican Party. So no wonder our system is in such disarray. Every party isn't even on the same level playing field. Can you imagine a horse race where two of the horses are running on all four legs and the other six, they got to run on three? So there's no chance to win. So what a horse race that would be, man. Can you imagine if you're one of the two horses knowing you're going in, all you got to do is beat the other guy, the other six going into this race thinking, you know what, I don't even know what I'm doing here. I don't have a chance. And if it was a political race, they'd be saying, you know what, my voice isn't even going to be heard. Who cares? Who am I going to debate? It's going to be like a debate against the Wiener Schnitzels and Jack in a Box. Only the people that like to eat in those two places aren't even going to hear it. So that's where we're at in this country right now. And has it always been that way? No, it's gotten increasingly different views on different things. Instead of trying to understand and jumping in on board, they go, no, I'm going to separate and do my own thing. It's sort of like the church, just sort of like we did when we had people say, you know what, I don't like to worship this way. I don't believe in this. I'm going to start a new church. Or, you know what, even though I believe the same, I think I could do a better job if I started my own church, and they went ahead and did that. So we look at it, and I just call it one thing. It's human nature. Human nature is not a positive thing, never has been since day one. Now, when people ask me, and a lot of people will ask me, you know what party do you belong to? And I said, you know what, I belong to a couple, both of the major parties at one time or another in my life. And for whatever reason, whether it was the guy I liked for president, I mean, honestly speaking, one of my favorite presidents, if we would have had social media today, he'd have been in prison. And he was one of America's greatest presidents. But you know what? Nobody knew what was going on until 40 years later. But that's who we are. That's who the humanistic approach is. And so without getting too deep into politics, what I thought I would do is talk about how do I define myself? I don't define myself as in any party. This is an experiment you might want to do at home. And that is to get up in the morning, look in the mirror, and say to your mirror, who do you say I am? Who do you say I am? And are you going to say, well, I'm this because of my height, my weight, my race, my ethnicity, my financial status, my country? So that's a really difficult question if you don't know yourself. And a lot of people don't know themselves. I mean, you're going to get a different answer if Elon Musk is in front of that mirror. I'm not saying whether it's good or bad, but he's going to define who he is a different way than I'm going to define who I am. Or whether I define who I am differently than the guy who's sleeping on the streets in Los Angeles without a home and without a job. So we're going to have our different definitions of who we are. Who am I? So I thought today it would take me a couple minutes. I'm just going to tell you who I am. I'm going to give you just a flash of my background because that'll give you a short story, but it's still not who I am. I'm Albert Leonard Olguin. Used to be pronounced Olguin, and it was changed to Olguin, which is the Spanish version, and since my father didn't want it to be a Spanish name at first until he got into being a bilingual education teacher, then he changed it over. Bottom line is I grew up half of my first 18 years of my life as Olguin. Pronounced totally wrong, O-L-G-U-I-N. That doesn't work out. So every teacher pronounced it wrong, and that's okay. Second part of my life was Olguin, and people started coming up to me and say, hey, how come you changed your name? Well, I asked my dad. He changed it. And then it's spelled different. It's without an H. So the Hispanic-speaking friends, how come you changed it? Don't ask me. Go ask my dad. So that's how I started. But everybody calls me Lefty. So I was a right-handed pitcher, right-handed hitter, right-handed golfer, right-handed marble shooter, right-handed eater. I did everything right-handed. I did nothing left-handed. But that's what my nickname was, and it stuck from the time I was 6 months old all the way up till this morning when my wife called me Lefty. So that's my name. Is that who I am? No, that's not who I am. I was raised by my mother. And at the age of 5, my father chose a little different path. I grew up with 2 awesome brothers, Jerry and Eddie, and 3 very cool half-brothers, Pete, Pat, and Paul. I married Rosalie Hernandez, and we have 2 awesome children, Jason and Joelle. I have an awesome granddaughter-in-law, or daughter-in-law, Marissa, and an awesome son-in-law, Derek, and an amazing granddaughter named Taylor. So you can define me by my kids or my grandkids or no, that's not me either. Just the information about me. I have a degree in kinesiology, special education, and a master's in sports science. I was a college professor, college coach, and a college administrator. I've always been in sports. I love to play and I love to coach. So is that who I am? No. Here's where I am. I'm a born-again Christian, and I serve as a youth pastor, a missionary, a pastor, and an assistant pastor. So if you asked me that question, who do you say I am, not who I was or what I did or how I was raised or what my school alma mater is, it's simple. I'm a child of God. Born-again believer that serves a risen Christ. And nothing more. Nothing more. That's it. That's who I am. That's who I profess to be, and that's the path that I've chosen. And believe me, it was a choice. It's always a choice. John 14:6 says, Jesus said, I'm the way, the truth, and the life. No man comes to the Father through me. So guess what? When I read that and I understood that, that's the way I chose. That's the path I chose, to go through Jesus Christ. There is no other path. None. We all come from different backgrounds. We've done different things, man. But you know what? There's only one path. There's only one way. Philippians 1:21-24. For me to live is Christ, and to die is gain. But if I live in the flesh, this will mean fruit for my labor. Yet what I shall choose, I cannot tell. For I'm hard pressed between the two, having a desire to depart and be with Christ, which is far better. Nevertheless, to remain in the flesh is more needful for you. So how am I going to define myself? Very simple. I chose the one way. I chose the path. And I'm hoping that whether you're a staunch historian that loves to talk about politics, just realize something. The Bible wasn't written in English. The Bible wasn't written to America. America was just another piece of dirt on this earth. But you know what? It was written for the world. And the guidelines and the truth, when it was translated into our language, we had the Word. We had the Word, and we've always had people to share the Word. So you can't duck it. So my advice is to sit in front of the mirror tomorrow morning and ask yourself this question. And how do you want people to remember you is not the question. Because they're going to remember me for some of the stuff that I did in my life that isn't who I am. It's just what I did. Whether it was good or bad, it's what I did. It's not who I am. It's very important to answer who you are. So with that, I'm going to close a very short devotional, just a little piece of information and a question that I think everybody needs to answer within themselves. Dear Lord, thank you for this day. Thank you for the chance just to share a little bit. And Lord, hopefully next week we can find another topic that we can just share and ask some deeper questions than what most people usually ask. And I just thank you for this opportunity in your name. Amen.
The beating of my heart is deafening, but I'm still listening in the silence after the storm. Your voice will bring me home. I can hear more than ever, taking me to a place that's better, with a hope that lasts forever. I'll put the pieces together, put the pieces together, put the pieces together, together.